Welcome
to the Society Sucks podcast. Today we're going to jump right into it.
Go ahead.
Worry is a state of mind based upon fear. It works slowly but persistently. Step by step it digs itself in until it paralyzes one's reasoning faculty, destroys self-confidence and initiative. Worry is a form of sustained fear caused by indecision. Therefore it is a state of mind which can be controlled.
Wow.
So, long story short, worrying for no reason paralyzes you. You're not basing it off anything. It's just another form of fear.
Oh, fear.
And it slowly takes over. But that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about was, so I was on the wrong page here, was the self-analysis questions.
Oh, these are hardcore.
These are hardcore. These will make you think. So ask yourself this and be very honest.
So you're going to read every single one of them?
No, it's too much. But let's see. Well, let's update y'all actually first. So
okay, go ahead.
Me and Mario are actually why?
Oh, sorry guys. They can't even see. They can't even see.
Oh, they can't see it. Okay.
Angle. It's an illusion.
Yeah. So me and Mario are in the book club right now, and we're reading Think and Grow Rich. And so we're going chapter by chapter, reading this thing, analyzing, taking notes, and really like absorbing what the book says. And so, at first thought, it's very clickbaity, as you can tell, because it's like obviously it's much more than just Think and Grow Rich, But he breaks it down so well, and it gets you thinking. Yeah, we don't sponsor them.
Yeah, we don't.
It gets you thinking about how to actually think in an abundance mindset, basically. And it's much more than just your thoughts. People think that this book is just like manifestation propaganda or even law of attraction stuff. But
it is a lot more than that.
It's more than that.
It's practical too.
It's very practical, and he's always stating that wishful thinking alone won't get you anywhere. He says that that's like to know what you want is obviously step one, but people just want to summarize that as the gist of it. To just you got to know what you want, and you just got to repeat it to yourself every day, and it's gonna come to
happen.
You. No, this guy stresses so much. Napoleon Hill stresses so much the power of organized planning, the power about having a group of people who can help you, achieve your goals, and obviously goal setting is so important, and yeah, it's just so much more than what people try to make this book seem, because it's just people think it's like very like spiritual, wishful, universe type thing based, but it's not.
Yeah, it's
really like when you read it, you actually understand what he's talking about.
This makes me want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Saying, I think you already read through the book fully.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the process. So, what would you say, like, are some main takeaways you feel like are directly impacting your way of moving life?
Ooh.
Moving differently, right? Because we're moving differently now because of the book.
Yeah.
The book allows that.
It does, and the book's made me, like, just reprioritize a lot of things. One of those, obviously, being more reading.
Yeah,
because
more reading.
You basically, like, this person, what he stood for is summarized in a book. Like, if he could leave one thing behind,
it was a book.
It's a book or two or something like that.
Oh, man. And that already inspires me.
Yeah. And
to be honest.
So to read what someone left behind, this is what my life's work is composed of, and he's giving it to you, and you can finish this thing in like a week or two. You're literally just taking someone's life's worth of knowledge into your life and being able to apply it. So I think that's why innovation is like exponential growth, because you're always building upon previous ideas and philosophies and ways of living. But with this one specifically, it's just the power of he emphasizes burning desire, right? And how you really need to want something. And recently I felt like I was gonna like try and like give advice, but I'm just gonna speak for myself, because it's it's what I've been applying. Because for me personally, I've been like kind of all over the place and not really dialing in on something, and it was simply because of the fact that I didn't have a burning desire for it. Like the desire wasn't there. And every great in whatever, as an athlete, as a writer, as a profession, as a business, whatever it is, as a career, they have this desire to be the best at something, or to really get the most out of something. And for me, it wasn't like really a burning desire. It was just kind of like a desire. It was just like a want more than a desire, which he stresses like the difference so much too. And I even like noted that down. I was like, how do I know if how do I turn a basic want? I was thinking this out loud, my thoughts. How do I turn to a basic want into a burning desire? Like, when does that come?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because it's like, if that's step one and I'm already lacking step one, not even
can't even go until the other steps.
You can't even go. And so that really has me.
What was the answer to it then? What do you feel like?
Oh, So he answers it. Yeah, he answers it saying, it's a burning desire if you're willing to burn all ships for it.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, give yourself no choice but to succeed.
Oh man, that's true.
And going at it no matter what, and that is a display. That's a proof that it's.
I would say that's true. I would say that's for this podcast for sure. Mm-hmm. If you come into the later episodes, you'll go to an episode that says "fuck it" in the title, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember we watched a series. I think I was going to school at that time too, and I decided,
that movie, right?
Yeah. It's called that, and I remember that's when I decided, like, no matter what it takes, this is going to succeed, and I knew it. I know still, and I will still continue saying that because I truly do believe in what we're doing in the momentum and the movement.
Yeah.
And no matter how many hiatuses it takes, there's never a quitting.
Yeah, it's not a quitting.
It's not, and I guess we're here to show that too, even though we've been gone for a little bit. Maybe we can touch on that too.
But also, each hiatus gets shorter. It's like the last time our first break from the podcast was like super long, and now it's just a little shorter. I feel like every break will get shorter. Maybe there won't be that big of a break next time, because the way I see it, it's like this is our own form of like basically putting out what we've been applying in our own lives and learning. Like we said it from the beginning. We're going to be sharing as we go.
Yeah, it's a journal, guys. You're seeing the ups, you're seeing the downs, you're seeing the pauses, the stagnations in the middle too, because that is normal.
It happens, and the thing is too, we also shouldn't make it seem like we just like are so inconsistent, because we've come together a few times and recorded, but there's either an issue with video and
technical difficulties that they don't see. That's true. That's true.
So we literally scrapped like quite a few episodes at this point.
Yeah.
And that we just don't upload, and we've gone together like a few times and just haven't uploaded. So the pause may seem super long again, but we've still been recording, but there's been a technical difficulty.
Yeah. And even that, it goes back to knowing our intentions and what we want with this, and focusing on like now an aspect of reading, but even announcing that we're bringing another person on the Society Sucks team.
Oh wow, yeah,
like that's huge.
That is huge, guys. And dang, I wish we could introduce her.
Right.
We'll just say her name.
Yeah,
her name is Ashley.
Ashley, right now she's probably seeing this.
Yeah. So she's basically our editor and our social media manager.
Yeah, definitely.
And she's like literally a third partner in this whole thing. So it's all of us working on this together to deliver, consistent quality, to remain consistent in the first place, and bring episodes to y'all weekly. And that's a super big update.
Yeah, and I think that's massive because it's, we always talk about wanting to connect with like-minded people, work with these type of people, and feel like that's who we want to be surrounded around. And I know us three and the mindset we have and how we all feel towards this podcast and what it can do, not only for ourselves but for everyone that takes a chance and listens to it. And you right now liking and subscribing and supporting this, like sharing it with a friend also goes the longest way.
Out even more.
But that's the point of it, and I feel like with that we are expanding who we can reach, our quality. What else would you say?
That, and it's it was definitely I'd say a vital step in the growth of this, because as much as we want to do everything ourselves, we have lives outside of this, and the more we can kind of split it up into third responsibilities, the more it allows us to be able to do this for the long term.
Definitely.
So that was I for sure.
Even that I had direct correlation decision through with the book too, and it's crazy how that brought up, because I remember you calling me up talking about it based on this book.
Oh yeah. See, that's the power of reading, guys. It makes,
you just saw Harvey's thinking process live.
I was thinking, I was like, how though? But that's true. Like this book, it talks about the power of having what he calls a mastermind group, a mastermind alliance, and it's bringing people together who can aid you or support you towards your goal. Because as much as you want to think that people want to stress this idea of self-made, or you can do everything yourself and all this stuff, and play that lone wolf mentality, but at the end of the day everything revolves around someone else being able to help you, someone else being able to do something for you. And the more comfortable you are with that, delegating certain tasks, or realizing that you can't learn everything there is to learn yourself, that's when that process becomes easier, and that's something that this book says. And he gives examples about, uneducated people and them not knowing everything, but being able to bring a group together to help him understand and still be willing to learn. And so when I found that out, I was like, wait a second, me and Mario, we don't have to be doing everything ourselves, and plus we can share this mission with someone else. Like, that doesn't hurt anyone. That if anything, it helps us even more.
To everyone's life.
So I called them up, said that, and now we're third partners with Society Sucks and Ashley.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing, though. That's something exciting, a new update too. So definitely things like working on in the background too. You're right to say that, and I definitely do agree when it comes to reading. Like, that book really does have a lot to do with even talking about the failures and looking at, like, if you're like, what is it, 38 rules of failure, like, if you're failing. Is it 38? I think it was 38 exactly. And basically it tells you, like, failures, and like if you're doing one of these, you're probably failing in an aspect of, I guess, life.
Yeah.
He talks about it and describes it.
And I love how he basically really makes you be honest with yourself.
And it's about, I think we always talk about how it does stem from being aware of these things and then being able to change, move on, and grow. And I think that's what separates people too. If you take the chance to even read the book, you're taking a step. Now you're reading the book, now you're applying the book, and you're looking within, and you're like, whoa, what am I doing? I think that's our major steps that start to accumulate momentum that will therefore lead to change.
Yeah, and that's why I just like that we have like a book club around it. So if you guys are able to get together a book club, do that, or
okay.
Or how do you get them to join us?
Or guys, go to our Instagram at Society Sucks. Tell us, hey, I want to join y'all's book club, and if y'all say that, y'all get to enjoy a book club with us once a week on a Sunday.
On a Sunday. In the mornings, y'all will join and we'll discuss the book together basically. And there's like these little
questions,
3 questions that you answer per chapter, and we bring it together and we hear from everyone's perspectives, and it's really cool. We do ask that if this is something you want to commit to, make sure you commit to it and you stay consistent with it. Every month we'll switch out a new book.
Yeah,
and
I'm excited for that too, actually.
Yeah, so it's really good stuff, because the power of a book club is that not only do you get to hear other people's perspectives, but it keeps you accountable. Like, this is coming up, and I've joined this thing, and you need to read. It's that simple. You set time to read, and you're absorbing information, you're absorbing new knowledge, and not only that, but you're actually increasing your comprehension skills by, all right, let me reflect on this chapter. What did I take away from this chapter? That way you're not just rushing to read it, which is one of the questions. What do you feel like was the main thing that the author was trying to get you to understand, and you answer that each chapter, and you write the main takeaway. Second thing we have is I believe a quote. Pick out some quotes that stand out to you, that stick out to you, that resonate with you. Write those down. And the last one is applying it. Yeah. So how are you going to apply this chapter into your life, or have you already been applying it?
See, and I think that's really good, because you can even go in with the mindset, okay, I have these questions in mind as you're reading, so it makes you more even aware of, okay, let me really try to pay attention too.
Yeah, exactly. And that, for sure, I've noticed that when I read with that intention of, oh man, I know I'm gonna have to talk about this coming Sunday, it's like you just understand more of it, rather than just trying to fly through this thing. Like, you start to understand, and it starts to resonate. And I don't know, just having a group just really helps with the accountability.
It does help.
And so if y'all want to join that and be a part of it and say, you know what, I really do need to start reading, I need to start reading consistently, join the book club. And
join us, guys, please. If you're listening to this on any sort of streaming platform, go to our Instagram. Link should be below. YouTube description. Society Sucks Instagram. DM.
Yeah, just DM us.
Just DM us saying book club or something.
Yeah,
keep it simple, and we'll add y'all.
Yeah, we'll just add y'all right in. Again, we just do ask for commitment, like consistency.
Yeah, see, that's true too.
The moment you join, and we'll pick out the book for the month, and then we get that book, we start reading it, and we just get back together once a week on it. And it does. It's just, again, like we were saying earlier, it's just so important to be able to pick up a book and read it and put all your attention and focus on only that, because this is someone's life that they're leaving behind, something that they want you to understand. If they could compose all their knowledge into something. It's gonna be this book,
That's powerful,
actually. It's very powerful. And honestly, like, I've been applying this thing, and I've joked with Mario too about, or I think I've told you this, I was like, honestly, if this doesn't work, like, if it's not what it's supposed to be,
oh yeah, you did say that. Yeah, you did say that.
BS, because I actually do believe in the principle that he's saying, like, it has to work. You know, it has to work. Just the way it's structured, I have so much faith that it is going to get to that point. Because even the action that you take towards accomplishing the goals, it makes so much more sense. And one of the big things I've learned too is that with the moment you receive, like, once you set that goal, obviously that's the first step. Once setting that goal is the first step, and then obviously setting a date by when you need to accomplish it is also very important.
Setting the amount.
Yeah, the
depending,
amount.
Is it a goal specific, or I guess
I think it'd be a goal,
if you're talking about money specifically, it's
money, you set
getting
a specific amount
now,
of money.
right?
Yeah, and then you set a deadline by it, because they say if it doesn't have a deadline, it's just a wish. But a dream with a deadline is a goal. And so when you look at it that way, it's like, well, yeah, I need to set a deadline on this, because now you can, like, compartmentalize however many months till that time, however many weeks, and knowing what you need to get done up until that point, and really make use of that time. And so once you have all that set, then he kind of tells you to make a rough draft of a plan. Like, what idea of a plan do you have now? Something's better than nothing, but he also says not to rely 100% on it, so you don't miss opportunities outside of that. Like you say, because if you say super strict, if you say super strict on a plan, you might miss out what's right next.
Yeah, or you might be like, oh, this isn't aligned with what I wrote on my plan.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're just like scrapping opportunity.
Exactly, but he does say to that our plans may be lazy or even flawed, and so that when you receive, a puzzle, a piece of that plan through inspiration or through a gut feeling, a gut instinct or something, like these will flash into your mind every now and then, and the moment it does, he says, immediately take action. Like, in all caps, immediately take action the moment it comes into your mind, because that is the part of the plan that you were asking for, that you've been repeating to yourself. Right. And man, it works, dude.
You reminded me of something, man, because I feel the energy, and it's crazy how I notice this every single time.
Yeah.
It's in person. You have a good conversation with someone. You have a good conversation about things that inspire you, make you want to do something differently, make you just want to become better. And I think that's what kind of the mindset of a mind alliance has. Yeah. It keeps you accountable, but it also makes you feel like, oh, I'm not alone in this. Yeah. Hey, I got this. There's camaraderie. Maybe you feel a little low. You're like, oh, overwhelming, too much. You come back to, ground on earth, and you remember that, there's people here willing to help you. There's people willing here, you're working together on a common goal. Yeah. Everyone wants each other to succeed, and it just makes you want to even push yourself even harder.
Exactly.
And I just noticed that too, because I remember that one time where we were talking at the park specifically.
The park.
After pickleball.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I think you brought up the point too, where it's just like, you're not alone. It's like there's a group. That's why, like, keeping each other accountable, staying connected, reminding yourselves. Because lows come and lows are normal. But it's about, like, trying to stay in the middle, and I think that's what a group can do.
A group can anchor that down, because the importance of community is something that comes up in so many like self-help videos, books, old wisdom. It always goes down to anchoring yourself to a community, because as much as we want to think that we can that we can solo life this way, at the end of the day, what's going to hold you back and anchor you is going to be your community, or the people that you surround yourself with. And you can try to be that little weed or that little flower in the cement in the sidewalk, but if you have the chance to get yourself out of there and get it in a garden filled with other people, like that's where you're gonna thrive.
Yeah, for sure.
And so the importance of community is just, I mean, it really is that important, because you share ideas, you help each other out, you're not alone in this, you share the same goals.
Dang, that's so true.
It's awesome, honestly.
One thing that you're reminding me of too that I want to kind of linger on is, with a group, we know that life tends to have cycles, right, where we go up and down. If there's multiple people, that you and I might be on a low right now, but you might be on a high. And then you
cancel each other out.
Yeah, you're kind of helping me in that low, or vice versa, and we're kind of balancing each other out. Yeah. And I'm starting to see that now. That's huge.
I think it is. No, dang, it's weird you say that you're noticing it now, because I've noticed that recently too. It's like that happens, but it can only happen when people are on the same trajectory. Yeah. If you're in completely different zones, why even reach out to that person?
That's very true.
Why even care? Like, you have no need for that. But if you have something that brings everyone together, and that's the importance of like, you see this happen in like church communities and sports communities and things like that. The more communities you form, there's a reason for people that in different areas of their life to come together, because there's something that's anchoring them to that.
Yeah.
In this case, for us, it's the book club, it's jujitsu,
man.
It's things like that bring a community together, and you experience people during all different areas of their life, and you can take something away from everyone.
100%.
But yeah, no, that's crazy. You notice that, because I've noticed that too. Like,
yeah,
you can be in completely different wavelengths, but like, just because you've met up or you're discussing, you have a
conversation or something.
Yeah, it helps out so much.
It can help, like, maybe it's because it's so different when you start to talk about how you're feeling and based on certain scenarios with someone, because it gives you a new perspective and it shines a new light on that. Because if you're just thinking about it, you're gonna think about it in your way, think about it in that way only, instead of getting an outsider's perspective, and maybe they might have a whole new perspective on the same thing, which therefore will have direct correlation with how you can react and feel towards whatever's happening.
Yeah, and then that ties into the mastermind group, which it's so important to have people that you check in with that are aware of your goals and what it is you want to do, or at least on the same trajectory.
100%.
Because you check in with them, and I'm going to read you all this little portion right here. It says, no individual has sufficient experience, education, native ability, and knowledge to ensure the accumulation of a great fortune without the cooperation of other people. Every plan you adopt in your endeavor to accumulate wealth should be the joint creation of yourself and every other member of your mastermind group. You may originate your own plans, either in whole or in part, but see that those plans are checked and approved by the members of your mastermind alliance.
Hell yeah.
So like he said, you can make your plans alone and solo, but make sure that you check in with them. Hey, is this a good next step? Is this a good move?
That makes sense.
Should we do this, And you get to hear from other people like, yeah, this is good, or
I think it adds.
I think we should, change trajectory, but it helps everyone out.
Even with the book club, you could see it. You could take that as being like, hey, I'm joining a master alliance. They're gonna keep me accountable with a specific area. But I think too, I remember discussing this with Harvey in one book club, is nowadays with the power of the internet, you can have multiple mastermind alliances with multiple things that you want to do in your life, like and I don't know if this is a little weird, but no, it's not weird. I remember we were talking about the subreddit of NoFap, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a specific community that's
specific.
like helping people with, an issue that a lot of, people could have and can continue to, because, they're just like, hey, update, this many days.
Yeah, and they have this it almost seems like a brotherhood, because everyone cares so deeply about each other, and they have this little count, like a streak count.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Congratulating each other, like, hey man, good job on whether it's 30 days or good job on you do like 200 days. That's crazy, 300 days, and like everyone's always just warning against the dangers, but like saying like we got you, like because I used to think it was kind of like a meme, type thing. Like,
no, but it's crazy when you're in it.
Yeah,
when you read what they say.
Everything they say is just like, wow, these people like truly care, and it's like truly destroying some people's lives, and they
no, definitely
it's like a place of like,
throwing money at things too unnecessarily. They probably don't even control it, because it is a form of addiction too, you know. And there's groups for that. It's like AA meetings, people have addictions. They go to groups of people. They all discuss, hey, this is happening. They all like, oh, chime in. You get through it, right? I mean, I'm not 100% on it, because I just listen to it based on podcasts and how people talk about it.
Yeah, same. But it just comes to show the importance of having a group.
It's just a group.
Is
it that simple?
Yeah.
Is it that simple, bro?
Yeah, I think it is. Because if you have a group that's aligned with the same goals, you're gonna get much further. Than someone who just doesn't.
That's true.
To solo it.
Different avenues, huh?
Could, yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you need the cooperation of others, and like you said, with like, whether it's with like addiction recovery and things like that, it's like you're on the same goal, you're on the same trajectory, and everyone's there to lift each other up and keep going, and I think that's where it can also become kind of if you grew up around certain communities or grew up or even joined, the criminal thing. But even on top of that, it can be like, for example, it can be a community, a sport, or something that kind of ties you down. Maybe I'm just throwing examples out there. Maybe your church community is a little toxic. Maybe that sport that you do with other people is kind of like has toxic things around it. You can just keep going down the line of things that, for you are communities, and communities are so like involved in who we are that you think that because you give up certain bad habits or, like addiction recovery, things like that, you're giving up the community. And so that makes us as a human that wants to be social and have a connection to someone feel very bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it can kind of like taint that image and like darken that image of what you once loved or the people you once loved. But it's like, there comes a point where you need to know that you're better for yourself. You know, that you have more to offer, not fear the loss of community, because there's another community over here waiting for you.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Knowing that all communities are not equal.
Yeah.
There's communities that want to uplift you and make you grow. There's communities that will do the opposite. Whether their intention is rooted to that is different. You know, that's not the question.
Yeah.
It's they just happen to think that's okay for themselves,
Yeah.
and you kind of get caught up in it. You know, it's not anyone's fault, and we don't want to blame people for thinking or being in a certain group. I think at a level, you just maybe you become aware of it on your own. You're like, okay, I don't need this anymore. Let me just try doing something differently.
Yeah, because sometimes we associate. It's not like you stop liking your friends. I feel it's more like you stop doing the things that your friends like,
and then you kind of slowly.
Slowly.
That's weird how that works, man.
Yeah, and so it kind of happens like that with communities. It's like if a sport brings y'all together,
and you stop doing that sport,
or no, even if like you stop doing the things that are involved in that sport. Like I know like recreational or like outdoor sports, you know, sometimes people might get involved in like drinking or, you know, drugs and stuff like that, and they have so much fun. Everyone brings together, everyone feels so like tight knit and whatever, but then you decide you want to change. I forgot I was linked to a podcast, but they literally give that example. But then you decide that you want to stop drinking. Suddenly they stop inviting you. Suddenly, you know, the sport that you once loved was mainly the people that brought it together. But you stop doing those things, so you don't get the invites anymore. They're like, oh wait, it's gonna be weird because he's not drinking.
He doesn't do it anymore.
Like he's not gonna drink with us. You know, he kind of doesn't do that. Now let's not invite him. And you know, it kind of just naturally dissipates. And so once the you know the average person once they start to see that distance, they fall right back into the habits they're trying to get rid of because, oh, that's my community. I mean, why stop anyway?
Wow.
But, you know, if you're the above average person that says, no, like, I want this change that bad, realizes that this and says, wow, really? The only thing that was bringing us together with things like that, you know, I thought it was our love for the sport.
Yeah.
It turns out it was
something else.
Happened, you know, all these negative things. And so then that person says, you know what? You don't have to give up the sport, but you do got to find the people that are with you on this and that at least, you know, applaud or support your decision on, you know, quitting doing something that's obviously harming you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the difference because things can get disguised as something good. You know, like
that's true.
Fishing, you know, or not fishing, something, you know, some sport. I don't know why.
Not like a sport, yeah, but you can get caught up in maybe the sports bringing you together, but maybe the people and what they do is not the best influence.
Yes, that because, you know, a sport just brings people of all types together.
Yeah.
Sometimes there might be negative people that brings to it, and that's their only like form of escape. But like they have all these other, you know, they have their own weight. They have their own, you know, garbage that they're carrying. Like, you know, Jay Shetty, that example, the garbage that they're carrying with them.
Yeah.
And it shows in addiction. It shows in certain behaviors. It shows in certain things.
And their attitude, man, that's so true.
Yeah, and so that's one thing that this podcast I was listening to warns of is to, you know, you're not. It's obviously going to feel scary when you start, you know, fixing yourself and you start to get these changes in like positive habits because you'll start to see the distance. But don't see that as oh man, I need to get back. Just see that as keep going because you're going to find the right people.
That's so true.
You know, but it's obviously scary because, you know, we're social creatures and we want that form of community. But
dang,
that's why it's so
true.
hard for people to get out.
It's hard. No, it's hard. And I'll use an example for my own self. In the very beginning, maybe back at your apartment days, and trying to discern the being sober and not partying, and then kind of getting away from it, and then feeling lonely, having a sense of loneliness because I'm like, oh, I'm not with people that I'm used to, not people that I know, not people that I see on a daily basis. But maybe it's necessary to learn for your own self, and it's necessary to move on to a better, you know, group community. Right?
Exactly.
But so if you feel bad and you feel that, just know it's normal and it's a part of the process of growing too. Because, you know, whoever said it was easy to become better, man, they lied. They lied. It's probably one of the toughest things you could do. You know what's even harder though is letting go of that and deciding, hey, I want to do better. It's easier to stay in the same spot and be like, might as well keep doing this. Might as well keep doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know.
No, when you have that awareness and you choose to better yourself. Yeah, it starts to get tough, but I see it like I just see it as just like one long stretched out low.
Yeah, and then
but there is an up at the end of the day.
Definitely.
You know, it's not just like it's gonna keep getting tough. It's
no,
for
like, sure.
There comes a point where you do find your people. You know, your vibe attracts your tribe. You
I
find
agree.
the people that you resonate with. You're like, wow, you know, I'm actually doing things that are adding to my life. I'm doing it as a support my health, support my mental health. Things that you learn to appreciate more of. The more you're on this path, because back then you just take so much for granted, just because it's like, the rest of your tribe, the rest of your people see it that way. They don't see anything else.
Oh man, it's crazy.
And the reality is, you're only with these people for a few hours, so it's really just a distraction from your regular life. People come together to as a form of escapism most of the time. That's the only reason you're doing negative habits, because it's a form of escapism. And then you go back to your regular lives and you kind of dread it, and you look forward to that moment again. So it's literally like, even that can be an addiction.
Cycle.
Hanging out with those kind of with the wrong people is an addiction. Bless you.
Excuse me, everybody.
Yeah, and because it's just this loop. At the end of each week, at least I get to see these people, despite my life being like this. But that's not the root cause. The root cause is learning to value the day as it is, and being with the people that support you to change your life into where you're not dreading your week to look forward to the weekend. Is that you're making your week entirely better, that you don't have to look forward to the weekend to have a good week.
I'd add to that and say too that the people you're around can make you acutely aware of that. It's not like, hey, weekend, it's let's appreciate Monday. Let's be thankful that there's a new, that we get to do things throughout the week, instead of kind of like, oh, fuck Monday.
Yeah.
Looking forward to getting the things that we need done. Looking forward to it, but even though sometimes you kind of still have to.
Sometimes, yeah.
But
it makes it easier when you have a support group.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
A positive support group.
Yeah.
And instead of channeling, the things that you have to do into, I'm gonna drink it away on the weekend, because it's been so stressful. See it as like, hey man, let's de-stress, but in a healthy way. Let's go mountain biking. Let's go kayaking.
Let's go explore something else.
Let's go to another city.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're still taking that de-stressful weekend, but you're not doing things that are actively harming you. You're like not escaping, but you're managing it in a healthier way.
That's
rather
true.
Than managing it with drugs and alcohol. So that's something that I feel like can make people's weeks better, is by also having a group that brings you to that invites you to do healthy things.
And we are hitting around the minute mark, and I want you to tie this up with a quick little bow, and in a question that I'm going to ask you.
Let's hear it.
We're tying this all back to the book, and the book's definitely done a lot in a short amount of time, and it's quite amazing. If you could, recommend one thing, a couple of things that the book's helped you that you would want to share out for someone that hasn't read it.
Yeah.
So they can be like practical, basically.
Yeah.
Or even a mindset, attitude, anything.
Yeah, I would tie it all back up to the beginning, that if you want change, you have to commit to it. Because even with the example of the book club, out of the hundreds of people that I posted it to,
that's true too.
Only a handful, like 13 people joined it. And out of those 13, I could tell, okay, these people want change. There's a reason why they're joining it. They want a difference in it. But if you want change, you have to commit to it. And so obviously now we get an even smaller group of people who actually attend the book club. And so realizing that, I would say to y'all that if you want change, it is going to take commitment to come behind it. And everything I just talked about will only make more sense to you if you actually commit and you follow up with it. Because you'll learn things that are applicable to your life. You'll seek the books that you feel are going to help your life at the end of the day. And but the only way you can make these realizations for yourself is if you commit to it, commit to a schedule, commit to a
rituals.
Ritual, daily, weekly reading of when you're going to dedicate it to actually learning and bettering yourself. And obviously for me, what we talked about in this podcast was those main things about goal setting. It was the importance of a community to back you behind those goals. Because it's a literal superpower if you have a community behind you. That's why it might have seemed like a tangent when we went off into
no, but it is a superpower.
But you also need to be aware of the bad forms of community, because it can be scary when you start to deviate from that. But all this ties back around to your own improving your own life, so that you don't dread every single day you wake up, so that you can look forward to your community, to your people that actually want to support you and help you grow.
Hell yeah.
And all that comes from committing to the change that you want. If you want to see that change in your life, you need to have some kind of commitment with it. What makes commitment easy? Having accountability. What gives you accountability is having a group.
For sure.
So find your people. Join our book club.
Join the book club, guys.
It'll change your life.
Join the book club. DM us book club. And with that being said, share with a friend.
Yep.
And we appreciate you guys.
Yep, that's it.